It's key not just to call Native people in November, not just to call Native people when you need land acknowledgement. You actually have to do the work of building relationships with the Native people and also the land.
Antonio Cosme and Rosebud Schneider are Detroiters with deep roots in Michigan's Native American communities. Both work to take care of the land and connect people to its indigenous history.
Anishinaabe is, in our language, it's translated to like the first people. So we were the first people and had migrated, from East Coast all the way into this area and settled here.
Cosme works with the Sugarbush Project, a partnership between the National Wildlife Federation, the City of Detroit, and local groups to bring the Native American tradition of making maple syrup to more people.
As spring starts to come, it's the most beautiful way to watch the transition of the season, is just to be outdoor in the forest with all of your friends in your community, working really hard to gather maple sap.
What else does this project hope to give to Detroiters?
Being that we're in a city and we're so disconnected from nature, it's really, really important that in the little bits of nature that we do have, people can form those sorts of bonds that are deeper than traditional relationships with nature. I think a lot of times people are recreating in nature, people are camping, and that's fine. I support all those sorts of activities, but participating in a traditional ecological activity with Native people in nature is just such a deeper, richer way to plug yourself into the season and plug yourself into the ecosystem that we all come from.
Schneider is with Keep Growing Detroit, a nonprofit whose mission is to help Detroiters grow fruits and vegetables in their communities. She says the organization is currently supporting about 2,300 gardens across the city.
This is my second season now with Keep Growing Detroit, and the only Anishinaabe person on staff, so that comes with great responsibility to continue to create a space, not just for myself, but for other indigenous people in the community that need to feel welcomed and connected to land. We've partnered with Black to the Land in the Sugarbush operation. We've planted a Three Sisters garden this year. We've opened up lots of other opportunities for traditional ecological knowledge to be shared.
Black to the Land is a group of Black, brown, and indigenous nature lovers who help fellow people of color have meaningful outdoor experiences. A Three Sisters garden is one that grows corn, beans, and squash together to enrich the soil and keep pests away.
Agriculture was a huge part of life for all indigenous people, basically everywhere in the state of Michigan and across the country. What are some growing techniques or ways that you think about food that would benefit all Detroiters of all walks of life?
Not everyone is going to have the green thumb or the capacity to have a big thriving garden. That's why you partner with your neighbors. I can grow this if you grow this, and that kind of trading happens. We do tons of classes where we teach people how to grow in containers, how to grow in small spaces. There are tons of community gardens that you can tap into, and people would love for neighbors to come out and grow their own food. I mean, that's the part of building community is sharing skills and resources together.
Yeah, and there's foraging, hunting. There's a lot of ways that you don't have to just grow too. Food sovereignty extends into the water, into fishing from the river. So there's a lot of ways it looks, gathering food and building a relationship with the ecosystem we're in.
Unfortunately, a lot of Detroiters, myself included, don't really learn a lot about our Native ancestry or roots in the city while we're in school. What's a good way for Detroiters to learn about this and connect with it on a deeper level?
It's connecting with the indigenous communities. It's seeking out, reading and following indigenous creators and learning the actual story. It's within our, it's on us to learn these things for ourselves. Yes, you can go out and be educated and, ask your Native friend, all kinds of burning questions, but you have to take that responsibility.
And I think there's just a lot of ways to get engaged in defending the land, getting away from the food systems that are making us sick and unhealthy, getting into nature, foraging, meeting with Native people, tapping into organizations. There's a lot of ways that people can connect in.
Talk to me about some of the lessons that Natives and Black and brown communities have all been kind of learning by themselves, but maybe need to be leaning on each other to learn and teach.
I think there's a lot to be said about the ways in which we have to recognize that colonization isn't an event that happened in the past, but it's something that's ongoingly happening to this very day, in the ways that we manage land, in the ways that we orient ourselves towards nature, in the ways that we separate ourselves from the ecosystems that we're a part of. And I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned in that.
And I think all people do this, but like my struggle's worse than your struggle type of thing. And we really need to get away from that, you know, like the divisiveness that is just so like prevalent. And, you know, continue to connect with these things, with it, especially with the land.
There's always something to be doing in every season that will connect you with what's going on in nature at that point in time. And it's a beautiful way to honor the earth and to honor yourself and honor the land and the native people of this land, to participate in those seasonal harvesting activities. You know, in spring, on Mother's Day, Black to Land is going to be doing a silver bass run. You know, we'll be doing out there walleye fishing too. So, you know, just like think about how the ways in which the season brings abundance. And tapping into that abundance is a really awesome way to disconnect yourself from the food system into something that's like much deeper.
Watch One Detroit, Thursday at 7:30 p.m.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.